The lawyer's voice crackled through the phone at 6:47 a.m. It's done. I didn't ask what. I already knew. Outside my window, the city was still gray. Coffee sat untouched on my desk. My hands, steady hands, that had built empires, raised a son, buried a wife, rested flat against mahogany older than his marriage. How long until he knows? I asked. He's reading it now. I hung up. Somewhere across town, my son was learning what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. 48 hours earlier. The church steps were crowded with people I didn't recognize. I stood at the bottom, holding a gift wrapped in blue. My grandson's name was stitched into the blanket inside. 3 months of work, every stitch placed by hands that once changed his father's diapers. The doors opened. My son appeared in the frame. Tall, well-dressed, smiling at someone behind him. Then he saw me. The smile died. He moved down 3 steps and stopped, blocking the entrance like a wall made of bone and resentment. "There's no room for you here, Dad." His voice carried. Heads turned. Whispers started. His wife appeared behind him, holding the baby. Her eyes found the ground. I looked at my son, this man I'd raised alone after his mother's funeral, and saw a stranger wearing his face. "I came to see my grandson," I said quietly. "You weren't invited." "He's my blood." "Not anymore." The words hung in the air like smoke. Around us, relatives I'd paid to educate stared. Colleagues I'd employed looked away. Friends who'd eaten at my table suddenly found their phones fascinating. No one spoke. No one moved. I smiled, not at him, through him. "Understood," I said. I set the gift on the step between us, turned, and walked to my car. I didn't look back. I never look back.
Inside my study. The lawyer, Marcus, 30 years my junior, sharp as surgical steel, sat across from me reviewing documents I'd prepared months ago. "You're certain?" he asked. "I don't do uncertain." He slid the folder across. Property deeds, business contracts, trust fund amendments, all bearing my signature, all dated 6 months prior, long before today's humiliation, long before I knew I'd need them, because I always know. My son thought he'd married well, a woman from a better family, old money that looked down on mine because I'd made it with my hands instead of inheriting it through blood too thin to carry weight. She whispered in his ear, slowly, carefully, "Your father's embarrassing. Your father's too involved. Your father doesn't understand our world." I heard it all through the silence that grew between us. I watched him change. Saw him start using words like optics and appearances. Saw him stop calling on Sundays. Saw him move into a house I wasn't invited to see. I said nothing. I documented everything. The company shares, Marcus asked, reverted to me at midnight. The trust clause was conditional on maintaining family relationship. He violated terms when he publicly disowned me. The house, gifted by me, title never transferred. He's been living in my property for 3 years. The business loan, callable. I'm calling it. Marcus looked up. For a moment, something like concern crossed his face. "This will destroy him." "No," I said. "This will educate him." The call came at 7:23 a.m. I let it ring 4 times. "Dad," his voice was raw, panicked. "Yes, I just got, there's some kind of, the lawyers are saying." "Saying what?" "Silence, the kind that sounds like drowning. That everything's gone. The house, the shares, the loan, all of it. They're saying you, I exercised my legal rights. The documents you signed without reading gave me that ability. Your attorney should have got it. You can't. We have a baby." I corrected. "You have a son, my grandson, the one I wasn't allowed to meet. Dad, please, what's his name?" Silence. "You blocked me from his baptism, but you don't know that I know his name. William, after your mother's father."
The grandfather you told your wife wasn't worth honoring. I heard something break in his voice. I can fix this, he whispered. Let me fix this. There's nothing to fix. You made your choice on those church steps. You chose your wife's pride over your son's grandfather. You chose appearances over blood. I was wrong. You were cruel. The line went silent except for his breathing. I raised you alone, I continued, my voice steady as stone. I worked 3 jobs so you could go to college. I mortgaged everything so you could start that business. I gave you every advantage I never had. I know. And you repaid me by making me a stranger at my own grandson's baptism. What do you want? He asked, broken. Nothing you can give. I hung up. Later that morning, Marcus called with an update. My son's wife's family had tried to intervene. Old money flexing old muscles. But money respects money. And mine was older than their manners. I sat in my study, looking at the photo on my desk. My wife, my son is a boy, both smiling. One dead to me. I felt nothing. That's the gift time gives you. The ability to grieve while still breathing. My grandson would grow up hearing stories about me. Some true, most poisoned. But one day, he'll be old enough to ask questions. And I'll still be here, waiting, with a blue blanket that has his name stitched in thread stronger than blood.